Yeah, we are good to go. So this goes forward, backward, forward, bottom one.
Osama and Fiona Cooksley from here at the University of
Okay, yes, that's great. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to Southampton Solent University. We are from here. And as you probably heard, the pod was just flying a few minutes ago. It quite didn't take off.
I'm Fiona Cooksley. I'm the Senior Information Librarian, and I lead on the DigiBuds project at Solent.
And I'm Osama Khan, Director of Learning and Teaching, who tend to have a tendency of taking credits of others' work. So in fact, in a way, I'll just set the context, and Fiona is basically who is going to share in terms of what she did in terms of DigiBuds. So just to give you a quick context about this university, I have already counted in my last count. There were about 13 pictures I've definitely noticed of the pod under the Twitter hashtag. So thank you very much. That's really good. We are excited about the building. We are a university with about 11 years of university status, but before that, for nearly 150 years, we have been in the education of art and media. So it started off back in mid-19th century as an art institute and morphed into a university. So we are pretty new in terms of as a higher education institute. About 11,000 students working in 5 different academic schools, and the proud thing about our students is they are coming from different backgrounds altogether. So there is a wide variety of students we take, including students who probably otherwise wouldn't get an opportunity in some of our top 50, 60 universities. So we are really, really proud in transforming their lives. It's very practical, very professional. We keep it quite real in terms of our teaching and learning into these disciplinary areas. We are very focused on student experience and retention because, as you can imagine, 75% of our students come from a family where they are the first time goer to a university. So retention and making them understand what it's about coming to university and higher education is a challenge, and we are pretty much facing that challenge on a regular basis. We're trying to be very innovative in learning and teaching. And of course, context to today's conference, we are very ambitious in attaining a higher level of digital fluency, not only among our students, but also among our staff members. So quickly about learning and teaching and student achievement at our university, we always talk about a collaborative community, a community that works together, and hence the DigiBuds scheme, although it started before the new strategy of working towards a collaborative community, it is a key ingredient towards creating the community. The community has teachers and facilitators like myself and Fiona, and teachers in disciplinary areas. Heart of the community is our students and learners. And of course, what they're doing, they're interacting with each other through units, module, courses, programs, schemes, framework, name it. And we want to maintain these characteristics in their delivery, so they're inclusive, flexible, technology enhanced, research informed, internationalized, and engaging. And at the end of the day, we really want them to be here with high level of professional capabilities so that they can transform their lives. As you can imagine, we are a socially inclusive university, so it's quite important that we make that point, that how their life will be significantly different to their parents and improve through higher education. But in the process, we also like to pretty much look into their achievements, so they're confident, engaged in terms of predictive analytics, learning analytics. They are getting the good honors, and we celebrate whatever they are doing. So in a way, to reward them, we are very much trying to get into this badging thing, and we are talking to Fiona all the time. So our Fiona is talking to Southampton's Fiona, and they're sorting out the badge. And of course, Roger is here as well, our head of learning technologies, who is literally taking a very academic stance to badging and trying to find out how to implement that. On the other hand, we also want our teachers to be achieving, so they're confident, they're quite competent in pedagogic research. We suddenly realized that we are all disciplinary experts in our own area. So for example, for 20 years I'm teaching finance in business school. However, I may not know how to teach, because teaching is altogether is a new discipline for many of us. So how we basically work together so that teaching becomes quite an important thing for us, and disseminating our knowledge in a more effective way using technology and digital fluency. So just to talk about students as partner, but before I do that, I really want you to have a quick interaction with you. You probably all know about Mentimeter. So just do whatever it says on the screen. Go to that website, www.menti.com. Use that code and identify 3 major areas where you think students could be partner to our institution. So when I say could be our partners, it means us who are working in higher education, whether in the capacity of digital literacy, professional staff member, academic, whatever it is. And of course, if there is any student in the crowd, feel free to say where we think could be the partner to the university community. Is it working? Yes. Okay.
Maybe you need to refresh.
No, I think.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh no, here we go.
Yeah. Wow.
Brilliant.
I'm going to count 5 and then move on with our presentation. So type fast and post. Okay, just quickly looking into that, it seems like quite a lot of us latch on to the idea of curriculum design, and that's great. I think that's probably happening across the sector quite a lot. In terms of everything else, of course, you know, the technology behind this is as such that if you don't type identically, it's not going to pick up as a bigger font. But you can see curriculum is coming, digital skills, library, training and assessment seems like another area where we can work together, and rest of them are pretty much a great idea. In fact, I'm going to share this with UCISA so that you can have a feel that what you have responded in terms of students' partnership. So reflecting on your response, thank you very much, colleagues. Just quickly to say, where are we at Solent in terms of partnership? So students are already in our curriculum design, so we do have students' representation in curriculum design. Every validation board has students, and they actively comment on the curriculum altogether. So we are proud to do that, and I'm glad that you all kind of think in that way as well. Co-creation of knowledge with students, something that's very new, something where we are basically saying we need to have enough flexibility in our unit and modules so that unit and modules can evolve and digitally kind of enhanced as units and modules are progressing within the classroom. Students as partner in applied research, something we are really focused at the moment. So recently we recruited a professor in research informed teaching, and on those agendas we are actually working quite closely with UCL, with Dilifang's team. And then of course we have students as champions in learning and teaching. Towards the end of the presentation we'll talk about some of the exciting projects we are literally about to start in terms of having students as champions in learning and teaching. And last but not least, student progressing with digital fluency, and that's basically the story that Fiona is going to talk you through about what has been happening in terms of DigiBuds. So I'll shut up and hand it over to Fiona.
Thank you very much. So the background to the scheme was that we're fortunate to receive some funding from the Learning Foundation for Higher Education's Changing the Learning Landscape programme. And this enabled us in 2013-14 to hold a series of consultancy days with Helen Beetham from JISC. So at these consultancy days we invited along academic staff, staff from the library, learning technology staff, graduate associates who were with us on a one-year placement after finishing a degree at Solent, and also representatives from the Students' Union. And at these days we discussed the gaps that currently existed in students' digital capabilities, and what we would envisage a digitally capable Solent graduate to look like, what skills and capabilities we would like them to have. So one of Helen's key recommendations to come out of these consultancy days was that we developed a peer mentoring scheme where students who are already digitally confident work as change agents to support students whose digital skills are not as advanced. bearing in mind that, you know, as Fiona Harvey was saying, you can't assume that all students already have all the digital capabilities that they need. So in the 2014-15 academic year, we appointed a graduate associate for digital skills who worked with us to set up the DigiBuds scheme. We branded the scheme DigiBuds because we wanted the DigiBuds to appear friendly and helpful and approachable to the students. Rachel, the graduate associate who's working with us, helped build a strong team of student mentors. She was really key in recruiting students, so it was really useful to have her input on that. I think she was in a good position to sell the scheme to students who were just, you know, a year or so younger than her, and as somebody who was just entering into the job market, she was able to sell the employability benefits of being part of a scheme like the DigiBuds. Early on in the scheme, we identified that as well as support for students, there was also a requirement to support staff with digital skills. We had feedback from students who said that perhaps lecturers that they were working with, the students were in a sense leading the lecturers and introducing new tools to them, and it would be really helpful if the scheme supported lecturers in addition to students themselves. We use lecturers as a starting point to recruit students to become part of the scheme. This is based on the experience of the Solent Futures staff. Solent Futures is the employability and enterprise team at Solent University, and they've been really helpful in sharing their experience of peer mentoring schemes and what has worked well for them. They already lead on work placement schemes, so that students who do a work placement as part of their course, when they come back, they support students on a future year who also have to go out and do a work placement. So their input in informing the scheme has been really helpful. Their perspective is that to use the lecturers as the starting point to recruit students is really positive because it adds some kudos to the scheme in the eyes of the students. The information librarians email out lecturers in the areas that they support. They ask the lecturers to recommend students who they work with, who they feel are highly digitally confident and would be in a good position to support other students. We target first and second year undergraduates. The reason for that is so that once we've trained them, they have the time and commitment to support students, and also will be with us for a good at least a year after having their training before graduating. So although we target the first and second years, if there are final year students who are keen to become involved, we don't turn them away, but we obviously have to bear in mind that towards the end of their course, their focus is going to be, understandably, on their final assignments, exams, and they're very time limited. So ideally, first and second years are the best people to get involved. We offer a range of face-to-face and online training for the DigiBuds. Solent Futures invite them for peer mentoring training, which they offer to any student who's taking part in any of the peer mentoring schemes. That covers basic presentation skills, but it's also important from a safeguarding point of view. It gives advice on how to handle a situation where, for example, a student is basically looking for the DigiBud to do their work for them rather than support them with their digital skills. So I think that's a really important, that's important training for the DigiBuds to have. We also invite them in for a digital strength session, which is just a more informal session where we discuss which areas they feel most confident, which areas of digital skills they feel most confident in supporting, and also if they feel that they have gaps in their capabilities that they would like additional training with. And we have access to lynda.com, so we're able to offer Lynda as a way for them to upskill, perhaps in areas of actually the technical side of giving presentations or public speaking, or if there's an element of, if they've been asked to do a session on Excel and they're confident in most of it, but there's one thing that they want to brush up on, we can then point them towards Lynda to increase their skills in that area. So as I mentioned, it's important that the mentors have the confidence and the commitment to support others as well as the digital skills. It takes more than just being highly digitally savvy. It's also that confidence to share it with others. I'm going to give you a few examples of the types of support that the DigiBuds have offered throughout the time that the scheme has been running. So embedded classroom support is arranged through the lecturers. When the DigiBuds have offered this, it's been in small group sessions rather than them speaking to an entire class. So it's in class time, but it's just taking away the students who feel that they need the additional support. And that works well because it's not, for students who already have the skills that the DigiBuds are supporting them with, it's not repeating information that they already know. It's just tailored to the small group who needs the additional help. DigiBuds then offered additional follow-up support afterwards, so the session in class time isn't the end of the story. They've got that backup support if they need it. The benefits of this, we found from Solent Futures that students are far more likely to engage in peer mentoring if it's scheduled in class time. So the people being supported are far more likely to turn up if it's in a scheduled classroom session rather than something that they've got to arrange in addition to their timetable. A drawback of this is that it depends on us recruiting mentors with highly specific skills. A lot of the requests for embedded classroom support, it's been to do with video editing, video compression. In the first 2 years of the scheme, we were fortunate that we recruited students from the media technology course whose skills in the areas of video editing were very high, so they were able to support that with no problem. However, we can't always rely on recruiting students with those skills. It could be that the cohort of DigiBuds that we have are great on promoting themselves on LinkedIn, great on perhaps music technology, but don't have that video editing capability. So if a lecturer is asking them to come in, they need to have a highly specific set of skills. And it's also, we've had access to lynda.com for the whole university since last September. So it's also important to be aware of parallel content that's on Lynda supporting the same areas. So there's no value in the DigiBuds coming in and trying to replicate what's already available online in a very high quality format, especially as the Lynda content can be shared on the VLE, and any students who have missed the session can review it, and or students who have been and want a refresher can watch it again online. So in some cases, the Lynda content might be a more appropriate way of supporting that need for the classroom support rather than the DigiBuds. We have offered drop-in sessions on a variety of subjects. These have been made available to students and staff. The benefits of these is that tailored sessions on specific subjects that the DigiBuds feel confident in sharing their expertise in. I myself, I obviously consider myself to be a digitally confident user of technology, but I went along to one of the cloud storage sessions and I got a lot out of that and realized that, I was really underutilizing the capabilities of the devices that I already owned. So it's, those are really, really useful sessions. in that respect. It gives the DigiBuds experience of presenting and of session planning, and some of the DigiBuds have reflected that they're perhaps contemplating a career in teaching, and so to get that experience of the session planning was really positive for them. All students and staff are able to, they're in a position to benefit from these sessions. So if it's something that's arranged in class time, it's only that one course that's able to benefit. If the lecturer isn't engaging with the scheme, at least students can come along to the drop-in sessions. It's not. However, a drawback of the drop-ins is that the attendance is often poor. It can be hard for students to make time, in addition to perhaps working working part-time and studying full-time, to come along to extra sessions. That can be a step too far, and also for staff to make time in a busy week to attend a drop-in session. They maybe intend to come along, but then when it comes to the crunch, another priority presents itself. And it can be dispiriting to DigiBuds if they've prepared a session and then only one or sometimes no students turn up. That can be very disappointing, obviously. For this year, we've tried regular support in the library, and that's on weekly slots on a help desk, which we promote on Solent Online Learning, which is the BLE, and on social media. And again, all students and staff are able to come along and make use of the DigiBuds support in that way. Having them in the library increases the visibility of the scheme. We've got a big pop-up banner. We've had T-shirts printed for them, so they're a visible presence. And by having them in the same at the same time, in the same place each week, that allows for repeat customers. So if a student comes along and asks some questions, DigiBuds perhaps demonstrates something to them, they go away and try it for themselves, and then they think, oh, there's still something I'm not quite getting there. They can come back the next week, speak to the same DigiBud, and ask for additional information then. However, it doesn't allow for any opportunity for the DigiBuds to prepare in advance, because they'll be asked about everything. But then they do have the option to refer students to relevant courses on Lynda if it's an area that is outside of their area of expertise. We also offer online support. Also, the DigiBuds set up their own Facebook page, which is used to raise awareness, but also an opportunity for students to ask for help using Messenger. At the consultancy days, one of the key messages that came from the graduate associates was that Messenger was really the best tool to allow students to interact with the DigiBuds. So we wanted to harness the power of something that they were already using. And then, of course, we promote it on other social media channels through the library and so on. New for this year is the page that we've set up on the virtual learning environment. This has a calendar of when help is available in the library. DigiBuds have uploaded short introductions themselves, some just written, some video, like this one with Mike here. Students are also able to connect with the mentors through the page, so if they don't use Facebook, or if they prefer not to, they can connect on Solent Online Learning. And then it gives scope to link to additional support on lynda.com, and also some digital skills tutorials that the library have developed, which are on Succeed at Solent, which is a broader package of tutorials supporting all areas of learning skills. Okay, cool. To quickly round up, this is an example of a student. I've changed the name, but it's an example of a student who used the help desk in the library, and to start with was really struggling with their course. They came into the library, spoke to one of the DigiBuds, came back on several occasions, got additional support, which gave them the confidence to. Their issue was with the technology, I think InDesign and Illustrator that they were struggling with. So their fashion skills were great, but it was just the technology that was a barrier to them achieving. Having had that support for the DigiBuds, they then went on and actually got a first for that particular assignment. And you know, they went from being at the stage where they were considering withdrawing from the course to progressing and achieving really well. Our DigiBuds, they're not paid, it is voluntary, so it just really outlines the employability benefits for the students who take part in the scheme, improving their confidence and professional skills such as communication skills, negotiating, attending meetings, and as I mentioned, the session planning and designing. Okay, so for the future, the immediate new first steps are, we're really fortunate to be having 10 graduate interns joining the Solent Learning and Teaching Institute to enhance learning and teaching. One of their roles will involve supporting the DigiBuds scheme, enhancing that for university-wide digital fluency, which will be fantastic because that will really help. That will really help to give the boost to the scheme a boost. As I mentioned at the start, having that graduate associate working with us was really beneficial in recruiting students. So it'll be fantastic to have the graduate interns working with us again soon. We're also looking to involve more academic staff in collaborative projects with the DigiBuds, very much along the lines of the iChamps model that Fiona was talking about at Southampton.
So very quickly, just to say that I was literally following some tweets, and Fiona was saying that, you know, she kept on hearing DigiBugs rather than buds. And I say that as long as the bugs can infect the whole world with digital fluency, that's fantastic. So our dream is at some point in every classroom at Solent there will be somebody, a DigiBud, who can help to enhance learning and teaching with digital literacy and technology enhanced learning. So that's the goal we are working towards. And thank you very much.
Time for one quick question for Fiona and Osama. Intakers?
Yeah.
Hang on just one second, we'll give you a mic so we can record you. Thanks, guys.
Hi, yeah, thank you for that. It's really interesting. The question is, Katie, your student case study, the software she was required to use for the course, the DigiBuds helped her with that. Was that because they were able to signpost her to existing support, or that they knew how to use that software, and because it was coming from a peer that helped?
I think it was, there was obviously already existing support in place. The lecturer had done an introduction to the software, and obviously there was the support available on Lynda. I think it was just that through going through it with her on a one-to-one basis, and you know, having the time at the help desk to address her individual concerns and just overcome those threshold concepts in a sense. That's what made the difference, rather than it wasn't the existing support didn't exist. It was just that she just didn't click until she had that peer mentor talk her through it a couple of times again. Because I think she came back to the help desk perhaps 3 or 4 times to clarify concepts.
Great.
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you both so very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.